Howdy, people. Welcome back to the second episode of the Lovin Riyadh show. I'm sure you're excited. We'll be discussing a lot we're going to be discussing some of the hottest topics that's been roaming around all week. Enough of that. I'm Sarah Ba'abbad, and this beautiful lady is...
I'm Rama, and thank you for that. So we have some really interesting stories and happenings from the last week for you that we're going to be discussing today. So we'll just dive right in. Sarah, if you want to go ahead with the first topic.
We need to start, of course, with Will Smith being in Saudi Arabia for the second time. His first time he went to Al-Ula. By the way, have you seen his Instagram feed when he went to Al-Ula?
No, actually. What was he talking about?
No, he wasn't talking. He was just taking pictures of him next to the Al-Maraya. He was having a holly jolly great time. And he also went to Jeddah. He was, in the...
For the Red Sea Film Festival.
Yeah, and also the Grand Prix race.
The race,
I think.
Yeah, he was there.
And he came to the Middle East of Riyadh. And this is his second time on Embassy One. He made a podcast with Amr Adib, I think his name. I always confuse Amr Adib with Amr Diab.
Very different people.
Yeah, very different people. Anyways, but what really surprised me is that he read the Quran. He started reading the Quran in Ramadan of
last year.
Sorry.
So he completed it this Ramadan?
Yeah, he finished it cover to cover.
So what was his views on that?
He mentioned that our Prophet Musa, alayhi salam, got mentioned a lot in the Quran, and he said that he related to his story a lot. By the way, did you know that he done the role, I think, in a movie about Moses, also prophet.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I love
he played him?
You think?
Yeah.
I think.
Well, that makes sense.
Because they brought it up in the podcast.
I think he gravitates towards these kinds of roles that have a lot of spirituality
and
or
leadership.
And sure. And something to do with also with the Middle East.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how he played the genie in Aladdin?
Yeah, he said that in the podcast. He said
did he?
Yeah, he said that I think he was in the past life a genie, something like that.
That's really funny, since he literally played a genie in Aladdin. I'm sure he meant to correlate that with his role.
Maybe.
But it would make sense, because I feel like, he really resonates with the Middle East, like we said before.
Yeah, he said that. He said that he feels at home in the Middle East.
Yeah, that's not too surprising. I feel like the Middle East has that homey feeling, especially Saudi. And I think a lot of people who come here from the West, especially actually celebrities, they always say that they feel very, they feel very accepted and they feel very welcomed and they feel that community vibe.
Yeah.
Within the Middle East, because we are very big on hospitality and the family dynamics as well, and obviously anyone who comes to our countries, we accept them with open arms. You know? So I'm sure Will Smith being Will Smith, he felt that himself, being welcomed with open arms. And he also, I think from what I saw in the podcast, he mentioned how he loves waking up with the sun rise and the sunset. So I think, and the host was also saying that he likes the desert, he feels at home in the desert.
Yeah, he asked
specifically.
him, Amr Adib.
Yeah.
Also, he never tried kabsa. What? How can you come to Saudi twice?
Two times and not try kabsa?
Yeah. What?
You were telling me earlier also that not only has he not tried kabsa, but he was also mentioning jarish.
Yeah.
I think the host asked him about if he tried jarish.
Yeah, but he didn't say jarish, which is weird because Amr Adib, hello, you're Arab. Why would you say, no, you're actually... Anyways, you're not supposed to... I don't remember how he pronounced it.
I think he said, or garish. Garish. He said garish.
Garish?
Yeah.
Was it garish?
Regardless, he did not say jarish.
You should watch the podcast and
it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people in the comments, actually, we posted it on one of the websites.
Lovin Riyadh.
Yeah, Lovin Riyadh. And a lot of people in the comments were like, oh, I don't remember how, jarish. He said it in a funny way.
Yeah, it's funny how they take the whole, like people in the comments, they take the whole episode and they focus on the one word.
Yeah,
that
because
he
it's
mispronounced.
iconic the way he pronounced it. It's like Gurish, I think.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Well, I mean, we have to give him some credit. He's trying, you know. At least he said
Yeah.
kapsa right.
Yeah.
So
He, Amro Adib told him that he liked what lamb kapsa. So do you like lamb kapsa?
I'm not a huge fan of lamb in general.
You don't like meat?
Yeah, I mean, I like meat, but like lamb specifically, I have a hard time with. But I love kapsa. So like I try and like, you know, make it my own when I
Yeah.
do eat it. But jarish, I haven't actually tried.
Oh,
Yeah.
how come?
So for
You
those who don't know, how about tell them what is jarish? Because also like I have heard of it, but like I haven't really tried it, even though I've lived my whole life in Saudi.
Yeah, well, that's
You know?
weird.
It is weird, it's super weird. So tell the people who don't know what jarish is.
Think oatmeal, but more complex. Like think it's a very
With some
complex
spice, you know.
plant. Yeah, but
Oatmeal,
I mean
but spicy.
you can
with
make
some spice.
salty oatmeal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. But I think you know it's a traditional soup here in Saudi, which is the oatmeal soup. Yeah, they make it basically, but with jarish.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's like wheat. I think. I think it's wheat. I don't know.
I should try it.
Tell us in the comments, by the way. If you know all about it, tell us
Yeah.
because we're kind of lost.
I should try it, and you know, I'll take Will Smith with me, and we'll
Yeah.
try some jarish together.
That's good. But if you want to try it, try the white kind, not the red kind. Both of
Interesting.
them are
Keep that
delicious, but
in
like the white jarish is like iconic. I think it's
Right. Yeah,
pretty
we have to
good.
try the iconic one, obviously. So
course.
noted. You know.
So I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you know why did he start reading the Quran, or what
No,
brought
actually,
him
yeah.
to start reading the Quran?
What brought it on?
After the Oscars incident.
The well-known Oscars incident.
You know,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm joking. Yeah, after that, he faced a pretty hard time, a difficult time,
I'm sure, yeah.
for 2 years, and that's what led him to read the Abrahamic.
The Oscar slap was 2 years ago.
I think so, yeah.
Oh wow.
I think so.
It's been a
It
long
was
time.
2022.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so
wow,
it's
it feels
2
like
years.
yesterday.
Exactly.
That slap rocked the whole world, honestly.
I thought it was, you know, I thought it was staged. I didn't know that it was real.
We'll
you
never know unless we're Will Smith, you know.
Yeah,
He's the only one who
exactly.
knows, I guess.
But like he faced a pretty hard time after that, so that's why he started reading the Abrahamic books. And then he said when he read the Quran that it aligns with the whole message of the other books. And he said that it was clear, and a lot of people, you know, just misinterpret Quran while it's just a clear message and it conveys a very clear message.
Yeah, and I think he also mentioned how, like, you know, he felt like at peace, you know, while reading it, and like the core message is like peace and love,
Yeah.
right? And that is literally what it means. It is peace. you
Yeah.
know?
On that note, he also mentioned a quote that Muhammad Ali said, which is, "My religion is love," and I think that is very sweet.
It
you
is.
know.
Yeah, and I think he you know, I think he understood the basic concept pretty well.
Of Islam,
And
yeah.
and like resonated with it in, you know, a nice way.
Yeah.
And I hope it helped with his whole, you know.
He looks better. He also said that that his first chapter of his life was about collecting wealth, and now it's about giving it to people.
Giving it back.
Yeah, giving it back, exactly. So I think he's doing pretty
And
good.
that resonates a lot with, I'm sure, what he learned from the Quran as well.
Yeah.
You know, giving back and, you know, thinking about others, taking your wealth and distributing it.
And
you know.
overall, his body language is just, I always admired Will Smith's body language. It's very confident, very
I'm sure
calm.
not in the slap.
Well, it was a good slam, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, he's he deserves all goodness in this life. So, moving on, tell us what our second topic is, Rama.
So our second topic of the day is actually a really heartwarming story that happened in Mecca this week. And it's being talked about all over Saudi and Riyadh and Jeddah, everywhere. It was like a social media video that was posted by Al Arabiya, and it was circulated all over, you know, all over TikTok, all over Instagram. I'm sure you've seen it.
The internet.
So a Syrian mom was reunited with her 2 children after 11 years apart, imagine. So because of the conditions in Syria that we're all aware of, she wasn't able to see her son and daughter for all those years. And in this video, it shows their full reunion in Mecca. So it shows, you know, it was during this Ramadan, and it shows the son and daughter running towards the mom and embracing her and hugging her, and you know, everybody, there was like a lot of people around and everybody started crying.
Yeah,
and it
can't
was,
blame
you know,
them.
it was a very emotional video, and everybody in the comments was also like, you know, extending their, you know, their support, and also like talking about the emotional impact that it had.
Yeah.
Obviously, because, you know, if you think about it, if, you know, being in her place, imagine not seeing your children for a decade. You know?
Yeah, that's actually a decade, 10 years.
And the fact that the children are kind of young. So if you see in the video, they're not old, you know, they're like maybe in their early teens. So if you think about their mom missing 11 years.
And them also not having a mom for 11 years,
that's
crazy.
their entire childhood.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure, you know, maybe that they talked on the phone and everything, but in
But
reality,
it's not the same, no.
she missed their entire childhood.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's really sad to think about, but also like puts it in perspective how the fact that they reunited in Mecca, in Saudi during Ramadan.
Yeah, that
you
was
know,
a very good reunion.
it's very wholesome, and it's nice to see that that was, you know, they were able to do that. I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the fact that they moved, the children or the mom was in Saudi, you know, and it's a lot of, I think a lot of people from countries with like conflicts end up coming here for like a second chance, or, you know, to rebuild their lives.
Just a better state of living. In
Better
general.
state of living, and I think there's a lot of opportunities for people from those countries to be able to do that here, as opposed to like maybe other countries. I think the Middle East as a whole. And did you know actually that there's more than 400,000 Syrians in Saudi?
That's a big number.
It's a huge number.
Yeah.
And I'm sure since the whole conflict started, which was I think around 2011, I'm sure that number was like much less and skyrocketed since then.
I want to ask something, but
Sure.
who was in Syria and who was in Saudi?
See, they don't make that clear in
They
the
didn't
video,
mention
so
that,
I'm
yeah.
assuming that the mom was here and or the kid. Actually, I'm not sure.
Yeah, because it's
I'm not
weird.
sure.
Like I can't.
I think what makes the most sense is that the mom was probably, you know, still in Syria and decided to send her kids to Saudi to live a
Yeah.
better life. Usually that's what happens. So this is kind of the vibe that I got, you know. But I mean,
Or
either
maybe
way,
the mom is the one working in Saudi.
maybe. But I
Right.
doubt that. I don't know. I'm sure that the kids, you know, wouldn't have stayed in Syria for that long.
Yeah, all by themselves. That's
Without
weird.
in those
Yeah.
conditions. I feel like usually it's the other way around, but you know, we're not sure, so we can't really say. But the important thing is that they reunited in Mecca, and it was a great video. You know, very wholesome, very nice to see during Ramadan that you know, that a family reunited. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
If you know anything about that, you can tell us in the comment. You know, just
Enlighten us more about the
yeah.
story. We'd love to know more. So yeah. So Sara, do you want to talk about our third topic for the day?
Of course, I want, because you know it's a pretty sad yet, you know, nice story, but
Happy ending, I
Yeah, it's a
think.
happy
There's a happy
ending,
ending,
and
yeah.
and we hope that all people who miss their children or
Are
children who
separated
missed-
from
yeah,
their children are able to reunite.
and have a good time. Anyway, let me lighten up the mood a little with
Sure.
this fact. Did you know that on March 13, 2024, the Ministry of Interior and the Ministry of Culture just dropped something that's, I think in my opinion, it's very cool, cute, you know? It's when you travel to Saudi Arabia during this month in Ramadan, it's an exclusive thing. It's a
Really?
limited edition Ramadan stamps on the passports.
Oh.
So yeah, when they stamp your passport, I don't really know what happens when they stamp your passport.
Well, when they stamp your passport when you enter the country.
Exactly.
But they don't even do that everywhere.
Yeah, but
now
they
it's
do
like
it
all
here.
electronic, you know? They do that here, yeah.
Yeah, so if you go and if you travel to Saudi, they're gonna stamp your passport with a little Ramadan stamp. Get your hands on one of these.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I like
and
how they made traveling in Ramadan limited edition.
it's cool. I mean, who does that?
Yeah, I've never
except
heard of
Saudi.
anything like that happening. Like, usually maybe like they do something else, not really to do with the passport. you know?
Yeah, well,
so that's an interesting thing.
it's like a
that they did.
souvenir, you know?
Yeah.
And it's applicable to travelers flying in at Jeddah King Abdulaziz International Airport, Riyadh's King Khalid International Airport, and Dammam King Fahad International Airport.
So the major cities basically in
Yeah.
Saudi, if you travel there, you get to have the stamp
Exactly.
on your passport.
Yes.
That's a really nice, like you said, it's a really nice souvenir because then, I don't know, you know, wherever country you go, they
It's
open
just
your
out, yeah.
passport to put the stamp in and
It's
they're
like-
like, oh,
You went
What's
to Saudi,
this?
you know,
Ramadan
during
season.
Ramadan, yeah.
Yeah.
You have the souvenir everywhere. Just imagine laying on your couch. I don't know why you're checking your passport while you're laying
why would
on
you
the
flick
couch.
through your passport randomly?
I
don't know.
mean, some things happen, man. You
Now
don't
you
know.
have a reason to. because
Exactly.
the
You have a
stamp.
cute stamp on it. Ramadan stamp. I think it's very sweet. It's a very
Yeah.
light topic, but I thought that we should mention it because it's a very cute fact. And how many countries do you travel to give you a stamp for Ramadan or anything in general, you know?
Yeah,
So.
and maybe like it'll become a thing, you know, where people come here just to specifically get that stamp, you know?
Well, if I was traveling to Saudi Arabia, I would do that, but I live here.
Yeah,
but, you
I'd
know,
be excited to. I'd be excited to receive
I
it.
want that stamp.
Yeah.
I need to
Yeah.
travel
Not sure
some-
why I would want it, but I just know that I do want
It's
it.
cute,
you know?
man. Like, imagine it. I experienced Ramadan in Saudi Arabia during 2024.
It's a very
24, yeah.
interesting way to increase the tourism as well. So you know the tourism has like gotten so much in Saudi in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So it's like it's an interesting way to appeal to, I guess, maybe the younger people. Because
Generation, yeah.
usually the younger generation is more interested in like collectibles and like things that are going viral.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a good way to like appeal to them as well. I'm sure a lot of young people are going to be like, oh, I want this stamp. I'm going to come
including
here.
me. I'm a young
Yeah, me
person.
too. Yeah.
I want that
Maybe we'll
stamp.
travel in Ramadan and come back just to specifically
Just
get the
to
stamp.
get that stamp because
Yeah.
damn.
Sounds like a plan. We'll do that.
Well, I love the Saudi, you know, the tourism that's been going in Saudi. I think Saudi Arabia has become a very beautiful place to tour in. You know,
yeah,
you
to
need
visit,
to
yeah.
visit Saudi Arabia at least once in your life. But I doubt that you're gonna, you know, visit it once in your life. I think if you come here, you're gonna love it just as much Will did. And you're gonna,
Yes, that's true.
you know, yeah.
Just like Will. So let's move on to the last topic of today, which is the new restrictions that Mecca introduced for performing Umrah in Ramadan. So now you're only allowed to go once in the entire month, so that they reduce the influx of people that are there around that time. Because I'm sure you've seen the amount of people in the holy mosques
Yeah,
this Ramadan.
it's crazy.
It's crazy, and especially in Mecca. Usually Mecca is a little bit crowded, you know, but in Ramadan this year specifically, oh my God, it's like a sea of people.
It's
you know,
beautiful,
walking.
but it's also dangerous.
It is. It's so beautiful, and it's so nice to see. But it comes with a lot of dangers as well.
course,
You
yeah.
know. So I think this restriction, you know, maybe some people might think it's not fair, especially travelers who come from outside. Just specifically to perform Umrah,
Yeah.
they want to take advantage as much as they can, so that they, you know, they're here. They might as well try and do Umrah in Ramadan as much as possible, and that's what people did in the past. But I think that makes it unfair for maybe like locals who would like to also, you know, take the opportunity to go in Ramadan.
Yeah.
So this kind of makes it fair for everyone.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but it also reduces, I think, the dangerous part
Yeah, because
of the crowd in Mecca. you
some
know?
people just have health issues with these, with the, you know, when it's a big crowd. Like even in a small crowd, but imagine that big of a crowd. If you haven't seen the crowd in Mecca, you should look it up because it's, you know, it's beautiful. It makes you feel all these beautiful feelings, but at the same time, some people have some health risks, like people who has asthma, children, people with, you know, who get panic attacks at like crowded places.
And also, even if you don't have health issues, it restricts your breathing.
Exactly,
You know, if
yeah.
there's so many people around you and you're all walking, you're not standing still. You're walking and
Yeah.
walking and walking.
And some people just get stepped on.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure you've been there and you know that, like, when you're walking, even when it's like a little less crowded, you see like, because everybody's concentrating on like the pilgrimage and what they're doing, you're not really looking at your surroundings, you know, you're focused on what you're doing. So people are not really aware of, like, for example, like sometimes accidentally they'll bump into someone, or someone will get stepped on. And because things are moving so fast, it's hard to, like, you know, if you're not aware yourself, so if you're not aware of your surroundings and aware of like, oh, someone might bump into me, someone might accidentally step on me.
And it's quite hard to focus on all of these things at
so
once.
then accidents do happen. And especially if you're a child and you're also doing everything, you know, sometimes I'll see like a child, like a wheelchair, for example, will accidentally like run over someone's foot or something like that. So imagine in a massive crowd with everyone moving at once, it's so much harder to avoid
and it's like
these accidents.
Lots of different sizes of people. Like you'd find someone 6 foot giant, you know.
Short people, what are they supposed to do?
Exactly,
You know?
get stepped. No.
Exactly. So I hope that this will reduce that. And also, actually, there was somebody who collapsed in the mosque
this year
in the Haram, and the Saudi Red Crescent obviously, you know, helped him get out, and it was all fine. But stuff like that, you know, might be a common thing because of the large amount of people. So I think that this new restriction will help in that sense, and hopefully make the whole experience more positive and more, you know,
more flexible
for
everyone,
like,
to get an opportunity to do that.
And allow everyone to actually feel good when they're there during Ramadan, instead of worried about the danger, worried about if they're even going to get in,
worried about the crowd.
But if you are wondering how you can get in, you can book a slot through the Nusuk app. Really easy, super simple, and with this new rule, hopefully there will be more slots open so that you can take advantage and go this Ramadan.
Inshallah. Are you planning to go to Umrah this Ramadan?
I hope so. Yeah, I am planning on it. But honestly, with the amount of crowd there is, makes you a little wary.
Well, now you have Nusuk and you have this new rule, which
so
is
hopefully
cool.
we will make it this Ramadan. We still have some time left.
Ya Rab.
Yeah, so that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you follow along for weekly episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Anghami.
Yeah, so you can listen to us on, like, when you're driving and anything.
Yeah.
Anyways, we hope you enjoyed listening to us as much as we enjoyed bringing you all these light yet interesting topics for the week. And don't worry, guys, we'll see you again next week.
We will.
Stay tuned.
Bye.